Good afternoon and welcome to the City of Glens Falls Water and Sewer Board meeting. It's Monday, July 1st, 2024. It's 2 p.m. Yeah, don't rush it, right? Welcome to July. There goes June. Right? Public, I don't see anybody here from the public who'd like to weigh in. Peter, if you see somebody online, will you let us know and we'll stop and take any public participation. We'll move on to stormwater moment.
Yes. Staying with the theme of all of our monthly stormwater moments, we can see, from pest waste to oil to greases, cigarette butts, trash, lawns, fertilizer, and car wash, any kind of materials that gets on impervious surfaces makes it to the stormwater system, that makes it to the tributaries, that make it to the lakes and the rivers, and then hurts plant life and animal life. So that's basically the theme that we talk about every month. So, but they do have nice graphics.
That's right. Is this the EPA's document?
Yeah, this is off the, almost everything we get. Right, Joanne, is off the EPA website?
And that's your stormwater moment.
That's
right?
the moment.
You could
I condensed it.
be like Paul Harvey, right? And now you have the rest of the story. Any questions for Bill? Third issue is billing issues, 150 Broad Street.
Yes, I was supposed to go out and meet with him to see about where the water was going. That got canceled, so we're still in the midst of meeting. So once that happens, I'll let the board know about what we think about where the water went and what happened there.
What happened to it?
Yes.
We're just postponing it then?
Yeah, just we've had two different dates and both had conflicts. I had one conflict, and then this gentleman from Vermont had one conflict. Because that's where he's coming in from.
Great. Fourth item is resolutions. Has everybody had a chance to look at the resolutions in their packet?
I think so.
Approval of the minutes. So the first item is approval of minutes from June 3rd, 2024 meeting. Any corrections to those minutes? If not, do we have a motion to accept the minutes of the June 3rd, 2024 water and sewer meeting?
So moved.
Do we have a all in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The next is the warrant. If everybody's had a chance to look at the warrant, anybody have any questions, comments about the warrant?
Comment relating to somewhere near the back, there was a pavement line item, and I have thought many times this spring how nice it is that most potholes are filled in quite a timely manner. I'm not used to that in many years prior, and I don't know if it's Tom has got a 24-hour beacon on his phone or what, but it's appreciated and noticed, and thankful that that's happening. I just wanted to say that publicly somehow.
Yeah. The field crew has been working hand in hand with DPW, doing a lot of, especially on the repairs we had over the winter, all those water main breaks and all the sewer repairs. We'll go out and dig them out and bring them up to about 4 inches, and then Tom and his crew with Mark will go out and they'll pave them. So it's worked out pretty well. Dan and his crew is staying ahead of it, and Tom and his crew and Mark's crew are following right behind them. So
That's been
we're
nice.
just about caught up, I think, now on all the ones from over the winter.
Great. And those are the only ones that would be in this budget, right? Because
Yes.
the other,
Yes.
all the massive paving and sidewalk work is out of the general
Sure.
fund as well. We spent, by the end of this year, it'll be $6 million since I became mayor, averaging $2 million a year, more than we've ever been able to, and that's because CHIPS and our highway money has seen an increase from the governor. So it's fantastic.
Yeah.
That allocation or that bid was just awarded, I think, for the larger paving this past Tuesday at the council meeting. So, yeah, great stuff. Let's see. If not, any other questions about the warrant? Do we have a motion to approve? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Peter.
On page 5,
Page 5.
sewer inventory is listed on their, water and sewer, or water,
All that E.J. Prescott stuff?
Yeah.
All the E.J. Prescott stuff?
yeah.
Sewer inventory.
Yes, that's stuff that we go about and refurbish, we reorder every year as we use it. And then that fulfills our inventory,
Sorry.
whether, it could be, lengths of 8-inch pipe, it could be sewer manholes, it could be sewer rings.
So you mean
So-
inventory, it's parts and pieces that you're
Get
restocking all the
Restocking
time?
into our inventory.
I just wonder why it's sewer inventory instead of water.
What's that?
I was wondering why sewer inventory and
Well,
less of the water and less. of the
Well, if you
water.
look at the top over there, Pete, just over that, it says transport, distribution, hydrant valves and meters. Right at the top there in the middle of the page.
Yeah.
So it says sewer inventory, you mean supply
Oh, okay.
inventory of some
Yes.
sort?
Oh, okay, now I understand.
Because
Under
if
the
it's
description,
water, hydrant and meters, why would you describe it as
Yes.
sewer inventory?
That's probably just what it says
Gotcha.
in the
It's
program.
It's restocking parts and that you need on a regular basis, is that right?
Yes.
For the water program, for both? And
Well,
it's just
because
in
it's
the
transport
water.
and distribution, so
Oh, I got you.
distribution is water distribution, transport is transporting the sewage.
Oh, all right.
Another question on page 12, on the bottom. Right, Pierce,
Yep.
this is every the 55,000, just, that once, or how many
This is the-
times they get, 55,000?
This is a continuation of their design of the electrical program, so
Yeah.
that's what they've done for the month. So there'll be charges every month, because remember, it was a $650,000 design.
That's much, I can't think of.
That's the monthly charge for that month.
But it's just that month. It's not gonna
Yeah.
be 55,000. It could be more
Could be
or
more.
less depending on what they bill each
Depending on
month.
how much work they've
Right,
accomplished
towards their
towards
engineering.
the design.
Or, yeah,
That's it.
great. Any other questions about the warrant? Not hearing any. Do we have a motion to approve the warrant?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Timber sales, number 42 dash,
C.
DCK Services LLC.
Yes, there were three full-time operators up at the treatment plant, then we had a part-time operator that was part of the city staff. He decided to take a job here, and his job is Sunday to Thursday here, so he can't work at the water treatment plant anymore. So probably for the last 5 months, the three operators up at the treatment plant have been rotating, kind of getting burned out from doing those weekends. So they asked if we could get an additional operator in. And DCK has an operator that's done this in the past for us. So we've gone and asked them for a proposal. It actually works out a little less expensive than a city staff operator for doing the weekend.
He's gonna pay $300 for a weekend? That's 24 or 48 hours. 48 hours at the $300.
He's not gonna do 40, he's not gonna do 20, it'd be 8 hours, somewhere between 5 and 8 hours on each day, depending on how quickly he gets all the work done. That's basically what our operators do.
Oh, I thought the big monitor all the time. I thought it meant monitor all the time.
No, well, he'll have the on-call,
Oh,
but, so after hours, if something comes in, he'll get a call.
oh.
So you're not talking about hiring this position. You're talking about contracting it out, and DCK Services could fulfill that contract?
Yes. It'd be an additional, an amendment to their existing contract.
and $300 is less than you would be paying if we had the person that you're replacing, or I don't know if replacing is the right word, but not using, they would have been part-time, just weekends? They were back, can you give me that scenario again?
Yes, the other, the fourth operator that was involved was part of the cemetery staff. But he
Yeah.
had worked at the wastewater treatment plant, he had worked at the water treatment plant prior to going to the cemetery. So he retained his credentials as a water operator.
Okay,
So he was utilized in that position. But when he transferred out of the cemetery to come back to here,
yes,
he went to a Sunday to Thursday shift. So he
okay.
could no longer do the weekend shift at the water treatment plant.
So you have an empty shift?
Yeah, well, we've been fulfilling it with the three operators that were rotating.
Right, but that's just a temporary thing that you've been filling it with. What
Well,
I'm
we
trying
wanted
to
to
say
see
is,
how-
are you filling this with that there were hours there that's in your budget
Yeah.
to pay this person?
Yes.
And instead of filling, and what was that job that you were filling and that would have covered that weekend? Would have been a full-time job, is that right?
No, this was also a like a part-time out of class employee from the
Well,
city.
yeah, but that's just the recent way you've been using
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
Forget about that.
Okay.
What about your regular scheduled budget? You have a certain amount of people that are working as operators.
Mhm.
Is one of them empty and you're using this to fill it? Or are you full and you're using this as an additional?
This is supplemental.
It's supplemental, so it's not in your budget.
It is in the budget
How can
because
it be in your,
because
There we
that
go.
is covered through the overtime budget, because each one of those weekend shifts is covered with overtime.
how long have you been filling that position with overtime?
Continuously.
For how long?
As long
This
as
year?
No, as long as the plant's been operational.
So you've had how many full-time operators working at the plant?
Right now there's 3.
And how many positions do you have budgeted?
Operations, 3.
3. And you're filled them. And you've always had a fourth position that was filled with overtime, and we budget it that way?
The weekend position is budgeted with overtime. Whether it's a 4th position or a 3rd position,
Well, I don't know. I mean,
no, that's what I'm saying, whether it was a
I-
3rd or a 4th position.
so you for at least several years,
Mhm.
it's been filled with overtime shifts.
Mhm.
And that overtime has been budgeted as part of your regular, boy, that is something different. Yeah, because you don't usually have overtime as a regular scheduled position, filling the needs of a position, right?
Well,
You have budgeted.
It's not really a full position, is it? It's 5 to 10, 10 to 16 hours a week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it could be, it's supplemental to the existing positions, because the weekends are covered with overtime.
So the weekends have been covered with overtime for years.
Are they just on call, Bill?
No, they're in every day.
They're in the facility?
And
They're
they've
in
been,
Saturday and Sunday. One operator's in Saturday and Sunday.
So it's a rotating,
Yep, they rotate the weekends.
the reason for this is because if it wasn't for this part-time person, they'd be going every 3 weeks.
Yes.
they'd be rotating, everybody would cover a shift.
It'd be, yeah,
And they've been
every-
doing that
every
for
third week.
years.
For as long as as far as I know, as long as the facility's been operational.
And we didn't put this out to contract, but our operator is offering to fill it
Well,
by
this is-
adding this.
This is part of our contract operator, whose company is our chief operator.
Right. So they, in addition to their regular work, they're offering to fill these positions at $300 a thing.
For
Are
that
you-
one weekend a month.
Yeah, and are you gonna pull that $300 out of the overtime budget?
That'll come out of where the other
So you're
position.
gonna reduce next year in 2025, we would see a reduction of whatever that is by $300 by whatever and put it into the regular contract
And we
budget.
can put it into the regular contract.
And that's the best way to do that.
It's actually pretty cheap.
Yeah, oh, I agree. I'm
I know
not,
on another committee or another board I'm on, the on-call person, whether he answers a call or not, is paid X number of dollars a week. It comes around every 5th or 6th week,
sure,
but they gotta have somebody to be there.
right?
Then he can't go anyplace. He's
Oh, yeah,
pretty much stuck at home mowing the lawn.
When
Right.
I worked, the guys got called in, it was an automatic 4-hour.
Yeah,
call.
so that's the
it's
same.
And-
still here.
And
here.
double time if it was Sunday.
And
They
time
were
and-
actually working this shift. Somebody was working the weekends every 3 weeks.
Yes, there
Every
was-
3 weeks,
I guess
everybody,
it
right-
gets
right
old. I
now-
know
everybody was
the guys on
rotating.
the other board were,
You've been doing it for years, and you're now gonna switch, and we're gonna, our operator is willing to do it for $300 a weekend.
Mhm.
good
Well,
deal.
it's within the budget. Okay. Any questions about this? I don't think we gotta go to the council because it's within the current budget. You're just moving the money around from your overtime budget to your, to a contracted services budget, right? The way I'm spotting it.
Let's just working one month, one weekend. a
One
month.
weekend per month.
Good deal.
I got you. Okay. Anybody have any other questions? If not, we have a motion to approve this resolution. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Timber sale, number 82-2024.
F&W been out, they've walked the site, they've marked the trees, they're ready to go to bid, it's all prepared.
We have an estimate of,
I believe he estimated, I'd have to,
I'm gonna see it there.
In the backup? Yeah, it's in the backup, right? Yep.
I saw it somewhere. I think Tom estimated somewhere at $80,000, but usually he's been, yeah, and usually he's very, very conservative. There hasn't been a bid, this is like, I think the third or fourth one that I've been here, and he's been somewhere between 50%, 70% low. Like you said, he's very conservative. I mean, I think he had one that's about the same price, $80,000 to $90,000, and it came in at $215,000, so. He's been very conservative.
Any other questions? Not hearing anybody, do we have a motion to approve the timber sale, number 82-2024?
I'll move it.
Second, all in favor? All right. Any opposed? Thank you.
And then at the next meeting, we should have all of the numbers for the bid, for the bid approval.
They've done real well by us.
No, they've
They've
been,
been very fair.
and they've always done a bang-up job, you know, as far as cleaning up and getting everything done. They actually had one forester that took it, had one crew that he thought was moving too slow, so he got rid of them, got somebody else in.
Yeah, you did, you're
Yeah,
right.
and
I remember that.
Yeah,
This is great.
Russell Hill,
yeah.
So the next is a Raftellus water rate analysis resolution. I believe that you're all familiar that we've been talking about this for a while. We want to know how much it would cost us to go with monthly billing, as opposed to quarterly billing. We want to talk about what right now the city of Glens Falls chooses to bill people based on their
Assessment.
assessed value of their home for one part of the rate, and then another is the usage. And about 60% of the city of Glens Falls is actually below the minimum usage, so they're just charged the flat rate. There are concerns. My concerns are with that I didn't for years and years, didn't understand. I find the water bill very difficult to read. I also think that quarterly billing leads to me and others thinking, wow, this is so much, because I don't get it monthly like all my other utilities. I misunderstand. I also see it as a tax. So it's like you're taxing me for water, and I see a bill for $300. I can't believe I'm paying $300, and it's almost like emotionally I'm paying $300 a month when instead of it's $300 a quarter. And I don't get what it's for. And so I believe that we have part of it is an impression problem, that people are not realizing that they're paying less for their water and their sewer than they are for their electric. I believe that or their cell phones. I think that they also, if they're like me, they didn't understand that based on the assessment of my house, and that's it, and that I'm using the minimum rate, and so we need somebody to take an independent look at this and tell us what we could do. There are council members who feel that we're, by having 60% of the ratepayers paying their minimum usage, they're not being encouraged to lower their usage, because it doesn't matter. I could leave my faucets on all day long and not pay it. So we need to look at this and see how much it would, how much monthly billing. And Bill told us, gave us examples in Connecticut. What are some other ways they bill water?
Well, flat consumption. And even up here, we always hear when people talk, they say, my bill is so much higher than Queensbury's bill. Our water and sewer bill is just our water and sewer bill. Anything that's attached to that is part of the water and sewer bill. Queensbury, some of their billing falls under the ad valorem, the general fund taxation. So that's why there's a little misconception. And what Draftilis has said, they'll look at 10 other water providers, neighboring towns and cities, and how they do it, and compare it to ours. And they'll look at what our water rates are. They'll look at the survey. They'll look at the billing feasibility, of what it would cost us to go to monthly.
So if we went with monthly, we could put things like the stormwater moments in there. We could talk about all the great work that's being done here, and all the sewer and storm separation, the I&I separation. We really like to help people to understand what they're paying for and what they're not, what they're getting.
Yeah.
But also, it's not worth it to do it if it's going to cost us $10,000 more a year. I don't know what we'll do then, but I want to understand what that would be.
The way the bills are prepared and printed, it doesn't allow us right now to do what the mayor said, put any kind of flyers or any kind of informational package together to include with the bill. Right now, it's just a threefold, and out it goes. Any
questions about what we're asking Draftilis to come up with?
I mean, this is just a study. It doesn't mean that we gotta
Do anything?
do anything
No.
with it.
No.
And
We
this
might
is,
find out that it's just way too expensive to do it any other way.
and this is the same firm that we utilized for the wastewater study, and they did a phenomenal job.
There are a lot of different ways to, like my cell phone comes out of my checking account every month. They just send me a little note telling me how much they gouge me. And then, but I mean, there's a lot of ways to set these things up. That could be done the same way.
Absolutely. We need to look at that on our website and every way. People pay everything online today.
Right.
And yet to pay your taxes online at City of Glens Falls is an absolute nightmare, where you could get charged extra fees. All that needs to change. All the licenses at the clerk's office. We need to make it so that it's just as easy to pay your water and sewer, or your parking ticket, or your taxes, all online. So that might fall a little bit under this, but yes, absolutely.
And that means you can do a lot of stuff we can modernize as far as that
Absolutely.
get up to.
And this will give us, a perspective compared to all the other towns and stuff, because that's all what we hear. Oh, well, such and such does this way, such and such does it that way.
Yeah.
We're not comparing apples and oranges all the time.
They're going to take into account if you went down a more digital route with another company, and the reporting that would be available, which would be a benefit to us or the road crews with leaks or any of that extra kind of stuff as part of it, or is that if we choose to use a service or a company that provides that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
That's like another phase of it.
It's a great question, but no, it won't be part of this study. But we are switching to C-Click Fix, so that any problem that you have, water, sewer, trouble with tree or your sidewalk, can all be done online. As a matter of fact, when we're in a position right now, we're waiting for the company that we purchased the software to move that way. We purchased the iPads to be able to, so that if they go and fix a pothole, and you complained about, so if you're walking down the street and you see a pothole or an unsafe sidewalk, and take a picture of it, it'll immediately send that directly to the person who would be working on it, right? And then they'll respond within 24 hours. They saw your pothole, let me check it out, thank you. If I walk by it 20 minutes later and I go to report that pothole, it'll say, is this the pothole? They'll show me your photo. I won't know it's your photo, but it'll show me yours. If I say, yes, that's it, then you and I will both be on that notification notice. They go back the next day, they check it out and say, yep, we've seen it, we'll put it on the list. Should be 6 to 8 weeks, maybe a month, 3 months, 5 months, whatever it is. When they finally fix it, the crew that fixes it will be able to take a picture of that fixed pothole. It'll immediately let you and I and anybody else know that they've got a concern that pothole's been finally fixed. C-Click Fix is going to be for everybody, and it's going to become, the goal is to make it much more difficult for you to call here and report that, right? We're gonna, I like when you try to call your phone company, right? That's what the goal is, because we want people to go on and use this service to report everything. And so anyway, that is all coming,
Plus, there's
regardless.
That sounds like that's awesome. I'm more. Gotcha.
We go to, that's what they show us, and so the new technologies that are coming out,
Mhm.
to where we can, put some stuff on hydrants, and it'll tell us the flows in different sections and the pressures in different sections, and it'll monitor. So if all of a sudden, you're losing pressure,
What's going on?
there's what's going on? Where's all that water being consumed that we're losing that pressure?
Sure.
Out of
we
that
had that
service
issue,
line.
remember?
Mhm.
Didn't we have that issue?
We had that issue
In the fall?
last
Thought it was
fall
calling
when
the turbidity.
when we couldn't figure out where the large consumption of water came from, and we thought that was part of the problem. There was more than that. It was a threefold problem in the fact that we had some of that stuff wasn't being coated properly in the pipe, so
Mm.
that was loosening it up. Then we had the problem with the the chemical addition that we were using, sodium permanganate, and when we switched over, and then we had the hydrogen peroxide, which was seemed to be precipitating out the manganese in the sodium permanganate. So it was almost like the perfect storm. There was 3 different reasons. Normally when we get those large consumptions, we don't have a problem because the pipe was coated properly.
Mhm.
With the sequestrant, and what happened right before I got here, they switched sequestrant. Twofold problem was the fact they couldn't get it because of COVID. The chemicals became very difficult to get, and the price spiked. So they got a orthophosphate sequestrant that they thought was the exact same, should have been the same chemical makeup, but there must have been something that wasn't quite right. So we just kept a maintenance instead of a dosage that we should have. So that was part of it. Then the 2 chemicals that we were using, that we switched to get away from the carcinogenics or the trihalomethanes, that is developed through the process of using a lot of chlorine. And that happens there is the chlorine interacts with the organic material and produces those trihalomethanes. So we've never been above our limits, but we try to get down as low as we can. So
Are we looking at how we can measure usage throughout our facilities?
that's what we're looking at some of this newer technology as it's coming out.
Flow meters, stuff like that.
Flow meters, pressure meters, things that are being used that either go on the hydrant or different flow meters that maybe we can put out throughout the system, pick, 5, 6, 10 different spots.
Not part of this, but yes.
But that's what we are looking at.
Would-
And Ricky Smith, the senior operator at the water treatment plant, and Don Colts too, look at all these new technologies, and believe me, they let me know.
Yeah.
Well, and especially since we don't, like with Moreau and other users, right now, the way the contracts are written, they're reporting to us what they're using, not us. Right, and
That's
they're,
that's on the wastewater side. But on the water
Gotcha.
side, the same thing is that, and part of the money that we're looking to get to do all these upgrades, that would be part of this process.
Thank you. Any other questions about this contract with Raftellus? And again, it is just for the exploration to give us some numbers. We aren't compelled to do anything because it may not make sense. Right? But we don't ask and I can't answer the question.
I like paying every 3 months.
You do like paying every 3 months?
Yeah, I don't, that- I pay in person, so I gotta go 3 times in a month, once a month.
Did you, before you joined the Water and Sewer Commission, did you understand your water bill? And when the change happened, when we reevaled, did the reval through the city, you then knew why that may have changed or may not have? Because the property, your value of
Oh, yeah,
the property?
I did,
Yeah.
I did.
So do you believe that most, my belief is, but it's just a belief that most people don't know?
I know.
And so would you all agree with that? I mean, because the reason that I've asked Bill to follow up on this multiple times is because I believe most people don't know. They don't know what they're getting and they don't know what they're paying and they're just angry about it. So,
Well, this study here also is gonna give you some information so you can explain to people what
Yeah.
they're paying for. It's gonna have it's a study you can hold in your hand and say, but done by an independent
Absolutely.
person.
yeah.
So when you go down there, Pete, you yell at them about your water bill?
Yeah.
Is that why you go in
It's
purpose
good.
and in person, so you can, just ask for her.
That's not my department.
There you go. That was quick, wasn't it?
Yeah. So you're sitting all
All
long
Yeah,
enough.
Do we-
not my department.
Do we have a motion to accept this Raftellus water rate analysis?
So,
Second? All in favor? Aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? Thank you. And then Creighton Manning resolution.
Yes, I think, unfortunately Jeremy's not here. He came before us last month and told us about the Webster Avenue improvements and betterments. And part of that was the sewer portion, which was, I think just under $800,000. The one thing that we did not have the number, and we did not bring to you, is that, part of this is also the engineers doing his consultant agreement, his construction inspection. And part of that is the $380,000, and of that $380,000, $80,000 would be to oversee the water and sewer betterments. So what we're looking for is a motion to approve that $80,000 to be included in the water and sewer portion of the Webster Avenue.
second?
All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. Any opposed? Motion carried. Discussion, Enviro Mix Operational Award.
We discussed this at one of the workshops. We had the plaque there, Mayor. That's one of the ones you weren't here for. And so you guys were all filled in, but then there was something on the that was sent out by the company through their internet and through on their webpage. So that's the plaque and that's the award that we received. We actually, if you looked at the email, got a congratulations from Barton and Judas from George Bevington from Barton and Judas, congratulating us about that award.
Is that something the Chronicles print?
We haven't sent it out yet because I'm kind of a little confused as to what, and can you help me to understand the award and what
Yes.
what it's for?
Yes. we have looked at, well, prior to me being here, the Water and Sewer Board and Steve Gersler had looked at several different technologies for the mixing of the aeration tank in the anoxic zone. And what you don't want is a lot of bubbles, a lot of air in that, because that's what you want anoxic, because it's part of the process to break down the nitrogen. So this new system, what happens is, when we talk about aeration, it's almost counterproduction, because we look at getting a lot of air for the microorganisms, because you want the microorganisms to survive in an aerobic condition. But part of the process before they get to that aerobic position is they want to be a little bit anaerobic, not enough oxygen. So you break down those microorganisms, it breaks down the nitrogen. So what they do is they use, instead of using fine, it doesn't, you look, little bubbles is the fine bubbles you're using, and that's been the state of the art in the technology, because it gives you more surface area for the oxygen for the microorganisms to consume. These are large bubbles that just slowly come to the surface, and if we walk out to the aeration tanks, I can show you, just slowly come to the surface every few minutes, a few seconds, like half a minute. And it just keeps everything in suspension and everything moving, but doesn't add a lot of oxygen to that sequence. And this is the technology that was chosen. It was 10 years ago, and it's been operational without any.
10 years ago, the
Yeah.
city used this AeroMix technology to
Yeah.
do slow large bubble.
Slow, large bubble mixing, yes.
And they're giving us an award because it's working so well.
Yeah, because it's been working very, very well, and we've had no issues with it.
How much did it cost us to upgrade?
I have to go
You
and
remember?
look at that.
No?
That was 8 years before me.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't remember.
It was part of one of the,
Is that what Suez?
I don't know if it was Suez. It was part of the ESCO. I don't know if it's the first ESCO or the second one, but it was part of those projects. That was part of the money that the city had bonded for.
So if you guys can help us by preparing that little story and knowing the thing, and can tell the whole story in a paragraph or two in a way that water sewer guys could understand, then I think it is great, and I think you should work with Paul,
Yep.
and we'll get that out to both the Post-Star and the Chronicle. We'll see if they run it. I think they would. But I'm glad I asked, because I was confused. I'm happy to receive an award.
Yeah.
We got one from Nymir too. I had to ask about that too, so that's good. I'm learning always. Biomix compressed gas mixing system. There you go. All right.
And I just leave the electrical upgrade on it just to keep us all informed, and that would the process. Obviously, last workshop, Chris Pierce came and gave us an update on where they are, and I still am blown away by those 3D photos of.
I know it.
I still.
Yeah.
It's
that's
amazing how they do that.
Great. It was very cool.
So
Great.
we continue on with that, and hopefully by the end of October we'll have something to look at, and hopefully by the end of the year to be complete.
Awesome. I don't believe we have any personnel issues, do we?
Just our lab tech started a couple weeks ago, so
Great.
that's where we are.
So far, so good.
So other than that, just the water plant issue with the weekend operator, so we're all set with that. So,
Right.
so those are
Okay.
the only things I have.
No executive session that I'm aware of. Anybody? The next water meeting is Monday, July 15th at 2 p.m. That's the workshop. And then the regular sewer board session is Monday, August 5th, 2024. We don't even want to talk about that because that will happen. July will be disappeared. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor?
That's-
Thank you very much.